Hi there, Steve Coffin here again. Today I want to talk about the age we live in, which I would call the digital age, the opportunities for language learning, and I'll touch on some things that I've spoken about before, and I'll also sneak in a few pet peeves. Now, my last video, which was a sort of an unscheduled video where I talked about the Canadian government wasting money on this futile expenditure of $500 million a year to promote bilingualism, when really bilingualism is more a matter of individual motivation than anything the government can resolve by throwing money at it. Of course, the government is mostly looking after what they consider to be their stakeholders, which is various constituencies that they cater to gain votes or support or whatever. Anyway, leaving that aside. Digital age. You know, I am an optimist. I think this is the greatest age to be alive. But you know what? It wouldn't matter when I was alive. I would consider it the greatest age to be alive because we have no choice in the matter. The alternative to being alive is nothingness. So you may as well take advantage of what you have and look on the bright side. So I have no sympathy for all the pessimists who see nothing but darkness and we're destroying the planet and all this other stuff. We're not destroying the planet. There are issues which we should deal with, but we're not destroying anything. We may make the world less favorable in terms of living conditions for human beings. That's possible, but that will not destroy the planet. That might favor some other forms of life, for all we know, maybe even bacteria, I don't know. But we're not going to destroy the planet. But we should certainly take an active interest in things that can make our environment for humans better. And we have undoubtedly done that over the last many, many years. For the simple reason that, I don't know how many people were on the planet 10,000 years ago, maybe 10 million. Maybe 100 years ago, there were 2 billion, I don't know. And today there's 7.6 billion. So that's an additional 5.6 billion people who have had the opportunity to be alive. That's actually significant. What's also significant is that more and more people are moving out of abject poverty into a situation where they live longer, they have access to health care, they have access to education, and so forth. That's not to say that there aren't inequities. There are lots of things that are unfair, but by and large, there are far more people living better today than at any other time in history. And one of the things that we have today is the sort of internet, MP3 files, the whole digital world. In that regard, in India, there are 400 million people on the internet. And that is a phenomenal growth from whatever it was 10 years ago, less than 100 million, 400 million. 650 million people in China are on the internet. Typically, they access the internet via cell phones. So that means they also have cell phones. Which is again revolutionary. So that's just talking about India and China. That's true in many other parts of the world, in Africa, in the Middle East, wherever. Not to mention, Europe and North America, Latin America, and so forth. So we are increasingly connected in this digital world. Now, the reason I bring this up in connection with language learning is that in my last video, I spoke about how the Canadian government is going to sink $16 million into some website to promote the learning of the other official language in Canada. This morning, I saw a tweet by Michael McFaul, who is the former American ambassador to Russia and who's a professor at Stanford University, very proud of himself. And he tweets a picture of the rain or sleet or snow falling in Harvard and saying, come to Stanford because the weather is so much better. I visited Stanford once. I was in the bookstore. They were selling books for learning Italian, Russian, French that cost like $200 a book. there is absolutely no need to spend that amount of money for a language book. We live in a world where language learning resources, at the very least, should be abundantly available on the internet. They are abundantly available. They should be more abundantly available. For example, I'm learning Arabic. So I have in the past bought Arabic learning textbooks. I think any textbook should make available, once you buy the book, $25, whatever it is, you should have access to all of that text in digital format and MP3 files for download. Even if you charge me for it, it doesn't matter. I have these books. I can't put them into links so that I can look up words. In many cases, I don't have the audio. I'd have to send away for a CD, and they'll send me the CD. And I may not want the CD because it may have too much English on it, which is the case with some of the CDs that I bought. But what I would like to have, and the same is true for Assimil. I have this Assimil textbook with audio. But what I want is the digital text so that I can import it into Link, save the words and phrases, review them in my flashcards and my different activities, such as I'm now doing with our mini stories. Why is this stuff not available in digital format? And I've seen this many times. I think the Canadian government says they want to promote bilingualism in Canada. They put God knows how much money into our national broadcaster here. It's got to be $1 billion. Everything that the CBC and Radio-Canada put up, their programs, not everything, but a lot of it should be available for download. Audio and text. Audio and text. It's so useful for language learners to be able to access just content. We don't need complicated, we don't need necessarily tutors. It's great to have a tutor, but we don't need the tutor because there are also grammar resources available digitally. But and there are so many good examples of places where they have done this. When I was studying Czech, the Czech radio, Český rozhlas, they had this phenomenal series on the history of, call it the Czech lands. Phenomenal, beautifully done, audio and text, transcript, still available. Tolky Českou minulosti, you can download it. All right, they had Jak to vidí, which was, political discussion. I didn't sympathize with a lot of the sort of political views that were more, I would say, on the leftist side of things. Doesn't matter. It's for the language. The same is true of, Echo Moskvy in Russia, which many Russians complain that it's anti-Putin, it's a whatever American plot, which of course it isn't because it's owned by Gazprom and it serves a specific role within the Russian media strategy. And in any case, there are many different opinions available there, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that there is audio and transcript. So you can download the audio, you can download the transcript, and you can learn from it. And that's what in Canada they should do if they want to help people learn the other language. Get the CBC into the digital age so that we can access this material to learn languages. There are lots of podcasts with no transcripts. I would like to see a world where there's just more and more content made available to people. In that regard, we have been producing our mini stories. I paid someone to produce these 60 stories in English. We've been, first of all, having volunteers translate them and record them. And now for some languages where we didn't get volunteers, like Arabic, for example, and now with Farsi, we are paying. This stuff is available free to anyone. You just go to Link and you can just download it and listen to it and read audio and transcript as usual. In that regard, we would, though, like to get some volunteers for Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish. People are asking for them. I don't really want to spend a lot of money to do that because it's not as important, say, a group of languages as, say, Arabic. But if there's any people out there who want to help us, I would very much appreciate their help. So, to summarize, we live in the digital age. There are tremendous advantages, particularly from the perspective of a language learner. And we should encourage people to create more content with audio and transcript available for download. one of the most common questions I get here and elsewhere is, where can I find audio with transcript content in language X? So we should maybe all push for that so that we get more of that, so that textbook publishers make this available once you have bought their book, some way that protects, obviously their rights. Get newspapers to provide audio, and there is some of that. There is audio tech out there. As for example, there's a magazine that I subscribe to in the Czech Republic, which also provides audio. Respect, I think it is. So there are companies doing that. I think The Economist magazine out of England Britain does the same. And government broadcasters help the world learn languages, because in the digital age, we should all be learning more languages. All right, a bit of a meandering rant, but I look forward to your comments. Bye for now.